Hi, everyone. It's really great to be here with you today. I will be presenting Revolutionizing early stage funding for positive impact. Can everyone see my screen?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, very good. So the thematics I would like to talk today is about my past as a woman entrepreneur, understanding the early stage funding landscape and how venture capital works, the importance of SDGs and ECGs in funding for positive impact investment, technology role, funding option, and best practices for early stage funding itself. So my path started 7 years ago when I opened my first company in e-commerce here in Portugal. It was dedicated to party and decorations for B2C and B2B businesses, Portugal, Spain, France, internationally also. And then we sold these companies to a Swedish competitor and decided to start Byro. Byro is a micro-fulfillment technology company, so we build small warehouses around the urban area and allow businesses, especially food businesses, to target their customers in a faster, more efficient way. This thematic for positive impact is extremely relevant to me because one of the main missions for me and the co-founders, we worked in retail for a lot of years and we wanted to shorten the way because nowadays the distribution is low tech and fragmented. So what we wanted to do is not only to make everything optimize the supply chain and provide it to all the businesses, but we also wanted to decrease the CO2 emissions make the businesses, allow the businesses to provide a better customer experience and digitize this area, especially the food distribution area. So we were founded in 2020 as a quick grocery application, as Byro app. And then in 2022, we decided to make a pivotal moment and to put ourselves as a B2B business. Also, the technology that we have built and we're using only for ourselves, we decided to democratize the access to everyone, to every brand, every producer, every retailer had the ability to use our urban distribution supply chain for any need, not only for building the direct to consumer channels like the D2C part and be in different platforms at the same time, but also for the B2B businesses. So if a business, a brand want to target a restaurant or a small shop, we can also provide the service like from an omni-channel perspective. I'm talking about it because all the technology that you will ever make have to have positive impact and you have to be anti-fragile to be able to adapt easily to different circumstances. Either is a bear market and the venture capital money is gone because something is happening globally, and your company have to always build sustainable businesses. So even though we're talking about impact investing, making a better future, the profits matter, and we have always to be focused on building sustainable businesses if we want to succeed and thrive. We have raised 5.4 million. We brought this international investment into Portugal and made the difference. We were the first company making such a big seed round of international investors itself. And we are the first batch of the Unicorn Factory program. So I wanted really to talk with you about the early stage funding, especially because we have positive investment resources, but most of them are not seen and everything is kind of mixed. So between the startup, pre-seed and seed rounds, here we have kind of a valley of death because not a lot of startups never actually find the product market fit. And I bring this today because this is the typical funding path that we see, but people a lot don't give the value to the bootstrap startups. So especially when we're talking about like building startups which are very focused on impact, the startups need an extra support because the VC money, the venture capitalists, they're very focused on the financial goals. So if you have a company which is successful financial and have these impact goals, they will tell a lot about it and will cherish these initiatives and the SDGs. But if you only focus on the SDGs and the positive impact that you will make in 10 years, you will not receive the funding, or you will not be taken serious. So you always have to prove yourself very well. So for the early stage pre-seed seed, we have different resources that I will later talk to you. But I always recommend, if you can, to start bootstrap, to get the first traction, to understand, is your product a vitamin, or is it actually a real pain, a real problem that you're solving? Because if your product isn't having any traction, you're losing your valuable time, and this makes a total difference in your life. I have a lot of time of different startups that I mentor, and sometimes they're struggling on an idea and are not able to let go this idea, and are not able to. They can be resilient, but they cannot adapt to the changes that the markets have, the regulations have, and you have always to be attentive and to try A/B testing, try different parts, different distribution channels, to understand, can you survive this valley of death? And I will talk about it later. As we're talking about investment, impact investment, the importance of SDGs and ECGs are really important, because nowadays there's no company that will survive without having these goals. And if in the 80s it was still like the goals and the profits are the most important, nowadays, if you don't have a great culture, nowadays, if you don't think about your employees, don't think about the environment, the customers will not buy from you, the workers will not work for you, the investors will not invest of you, because if the customers are happy and the employees are happy, the investors will be happy. This is kind of a correlation itself. I really like the example of Unilever, because they follow this ECG criteria, environmental, social, and governance, considering also early stage funding, because it encompasses environmental sustainability, social responsibility, ethical governance, and it's just vital for impact-focused investing. So the Unilever's commitment to sustainability, living plan, they had like a plan for 10 years. So they were demonstrating and aligning all their business goals to the positive environment impacts and social impacts. And what they also have is that they are so big that they most of time look to small startups, small companies who are actually doing something important for them, like protein, like any like substitutions that can make to a climate change. They're looking to these startups and are supporting and making strategic partnerships. So one of the importance of early stage investment for me is you have these SDGs, but aligned with the financial goals. You always have to be focused on understanding who will use your product, and if there are any bigger players, strategic players, who are also looking to the same values, to the same mission, but maybe they are just too big to realize it. It looks strange because we think that the corporates are the biggest and they can do everything and they have all resources, but in fact, it's not really true. And they need the small companies to create the impact. They need the talent, they need the startups to be aligned to these goals and to create a responsible social and a better future for everyone. Again, profits always matter. I have worked with more than 100 impact investors in the last 3 years. And even though they all focus on the planet, the profits matter. They need to see the first traction. So sometimes I really see a lot of founders who are very overloaded with the idea of either is it's the CO2 emissions or decrease of the food wastage. You really need to understand at what market you are, what are the problems, and then you have to have the sustainability at the core base, but it cannot only be the sustainability you care about. So you can have the sustainability vision and mission always by hand with you, but you still have to do the business. And even though your business cannot be perfect at the beginning, you will have the plan to put this sustainability and to increase the sustainability goals as your company grows. Technology plays a really vital part in reshaping early stage funding because of the amazing companies that raises the impact investors and actually look for this purpose, not only, okay, I want to do profit, but I will invest in a company where is product market fit, and in the same time, we will change the world, we will do a better future, we will change for more environmental friendly resources. I really like two cases. I wanted two real study cases to share with you. We have the Ampere. It's an aviation startup that was leveraged by data analytics, and they do a lot of hydrogen aircraft technology to revolutionize air travel. So basically, they are doing lowest carbon emissions airplane travel for everyone. And they right now, the fuel consumption have a CO2 reduction of 40 to 50%. But the main core of the business was creating air travel. They were optimizing the air travel. And then they started to change everything to a more hydrogen, to more environmental friendly, starting to decrease this consumption. And right now, of course, they're a successful company backed with great investors, raised millions of funding because they have a great mission. The customers are going forward because they have the same values as the company, but they were not saying we were just decrease the CO2 emissions and didn't have an airplane at place. Other startup is the Too Good To Go, which was founded in Denmark with an amazing groups of entrepreneurs, and their mission was always to address the issue of food waste. So as the restaurants at the end of the day had a lot of, in the grocery store wastage, there was a problem that where a lot of people also going, you know, to take these products from not from the store, but they were wasted, and they were taking the products from other more sympathetic places. So this app not allowed people to take products that are actually good, that are actually can be eaten or used at the same day. So this Too Good To Go application really made the difference, not only for the restaurants where we're not wastaging, but also to the customers itself. I wanted to bring some funding options to you so we can discuss, because normally the startups think only about the first picture I shared with you, which was the VC capital. So you have, but the VCs, the venture capital investors, they are looking for multiples, and they will not invest in you if they don't see that you can bring them 2 or 3 multiples who will cover the fund and who will increase their results as the fund. So a lot of funds cannot support you because their goal is to find from these 40 companies, 1 or 2 heroes who will cover all the fund. So when you're an entrepreneur, you really have to understand that you will hear a lot of no's, accept it, and it doesn't mean that your idea isn't worth it. You know, we have Airbnb as an example, who was like a lot of years ago, it was like sharing your own home. Are you crazy? Nobody will want it. But at the same time, the entrepreneurs, the founders believed so much in idea. They found these small investors, not the top 5 who were undervaluing their ideas and it will not be famous, and made a lot of money. They found the investors that believed in them, that supported them, that understood the problem, had the expertise. So you really have to find your own way and your own investment until you prove that your product and your startup has a great worth. Bootstrapping was the way we started in Biro. So from our previous exit, we decided to reinvest and open this, to build the fulfillment technology before going to raise. So we actually found some first product market fit, and then we went to the first results to the investors. Another part is crowdfunding. Crowdfunding, there it's like a platform where you post your idea, you post your mission, your social goals, and the public, the normal public, can support you. In Europe, we have like Crowdcube, we have Seeders, you have Kickstarter, Indiegogo, GoFundMe. There's a really cool example of how Kickstarter founded Oculus VR, because Oculus VR successfully raised funds on Kickstarter and demonstrated how crowdfunding can enable technological innovation and social impact. So put yourselves out there, see the critics, find people who support your mission, because in the early stage, you really have to do the good storytelling, and you have to work on this. Angel investors are also one of the amazing way for impact investment and for the first rounds, because normally you search for experts. The angel investors are experts of an industry normally, who have invested in different companies from your area. So it's not about the funding, it's more about the smart money, about the knowledge, about the connections, about the introductions, the door opening that can happen for you. So you have to approach angel investors. You have to, from a really human touch point of view, explain them your mission, explain why are you talking to them, and you can find really a big support finding the right angel investor. And impact investing are exceptionally the funds who only invest in making the future for the best. We have a lot of in Europe, but again, they're very selective, and you really have to have the first traction. So before going here, either you have a really warm introduction and someone who truly feels what you're doing, and then you raise around proceed straightforward, and it's amazing. But sometimes you need to create a network who believes in you, a big, strong network who support your idea, who support you until you go to these bigger funds or investors. One another thing I truly believe early stage founders should do, and they're not doing. We have a lot of grants and competitions happening across Europe. So a lot of people are thinking that it's a lot of work and I don't want to do it, and it's really bureaucracy. However, it gives you brand awareness, it gives you credibility, it gives you visibility. So research and apply for grants, competitions, business accelerators in an industry. So when you can validate your idea, you can have a practice pitching, you can have any funding and support and resources that can come from this competition. So please search for them at your area, at your country, or even if you're trying to see any market. Sometimes your market is not the best and you want to understand what is happening in other markets. This is a great opportunity to look at it. We have also small businesses loans, like your local banks. A lot of you can ask a loan for your small business and to see how it will work if you don't have money to bootstrap. And you can investigate initiatives like the European Investment Fund and the European Investment Bank. Because what happens, a lot of founders also go straight forward to VCs. But if you're like a first-time founder and you don't have the network and you don't have the support, it's very challenging to raise the round. And it's not that your idea is bad or worse, it can be $1 million idea, but you simply need to do a lot of homework, a lot of work before getting into this venture capital game. And one of the other ones I truly value a lot are the strategic partnerships itself, because larger companies and organizations can provide the funding, the spaces, the resources, or even the distribution channels, because the distribution channels, will help you to spread your product and increase when you feel this first product market fit, you really will find a first distribution channel, but you will have to find more distribution channels. And these big companies, if they understand your mission, if you go to them and you ask, what is the strategy for innovation for the next quarters? What are you doing? What are you valuing? You really have to be at the same line with them, because they can really be a great support for you. They can be a strategic partnership for a long-term goal, for funding, opening introduction, a big study case. So don't focus only on investors, focus on your clients, focus on your customers, focus on these partnerships, because it exactly will help you to pass the valley of death. You have to really focus every day. You have to take the decisions quickly. You have to be easily to adapt, and you have to be anti-fragile. Measurement of and evaluation of impact. It's a really important part, because we talk about how we're doing impact, how we're implementing the SDGs, how we're all making a better future. But if we don't measure, it doesn't exist. We don't have the numbers to back it. So you have always to have an evaluation, a measurement. And here I bring the certification of B Corporation. So the B Lab created the B Corp certification, which is a kind of rigorous assessment, how the company is making impact on the workers, on the community, environment, and the customers. And we have companies like Patagonia and Ben & Jerry who embraced this assessment and made a showcasing of how measurement can drive responsible business practices. The Patagonia is a really cool example, because the company truly embraced the journey of this, and they started to making wear clothing and distributing among the employees, explaining that so the materials will be longer and the people will use the same clothes. They started to invest a lot in the environment, and even the founder of Patagonia, on an interview, someone told him that he itself was a millionaire, and he started just to donating a lot of resources for the SDGs, because for him it wasn't a compliment, it was more like he really wanted to give back, to take the time to give back to the community and to the people. So this is a good example of where Patagonia has amazing profits, everything is going good, and they're putting sustainability, community, environment as core values, and creating this better future. And we can see and evaluate the impact that Patagonia is doing on the world. I wanted to discuss with you also, Patagonia we already discussed. And then we have the TransferWise, which was founded in 2011 by Tavet Hinrikus and Christo Kauerman, who were two Estonian expats in UK. And from their personal experiences, they had problem with high fees and poor exchange rates for international money. And they had basically problems with transferring money because the fees in the banks were very high. So they became kind of the first European fintech unicorn with billion-dollar valuations, but everything started from their personal experience, from their personal struggles, and their path was also not straightforward. And most of the startups who did impact, the path was not straightforward. They didn't came to investors and got around since day one. They really had to pass all this value of death with bootstrapping, with finding the right investors who support really your idea, who have the same vision, who truly believe you can execute, because execution is the most relevant part, especially when you're creating impact, and you have to be really fast at the execution that you provide. So, and storytelling and effective pitch strategies, you have to be a really good storyteller of what you're building, because otherwise you will not prove to the investor or to the grant commission that you are able to execute something that you're talking about. So you really have to love what you're doing. You really have to have a mission, a vision. So you have to have practice your communication tools, or find a co-founder who have these communication tools. An amazing story of Tony Chocoloni, which is a brand I love a lot. They started in 2005, and they wanted to produce chocolate that is 100% free from child labor and slavery in the cocoa supply chain. And you can imagine that it's a really big topic, especially in Southern America. And starting a company like that, where you take all the slavery from the supply chain, is really very, very challenging. So one thing that they started to do, they put all the community, they put the public correlation, the public understanding of their mission. So they were supported by the farmers who were taking the slavery out, by the drivers who were driving the cocoa. So they took a lot of stakeholders, a lot of partnerships, passed down their mission, and they were not only supported by investors, but they were supported by all the community who were trying to stop the free child labor and slavery, and to actually change change the world. So the funding was a lot of through sales, because the first revenues, they came from selling the first chocolates, and they succeeded in the European market, and then started to grow forward it. And they made a lot of impactful partnerships, as I told you, to raise awareness, to address these issues related to the fair trade and responsible sourcing of cocoa. So I believe I have talked a lot till this moment, and I would like to hear some feedback, some questions, so we can understand how I can help you better. Thank you.
Thank you, Milana. It was great. So I don't know if any participants wants to make some questions. I can tell you already, I can ask you already something that I think that will be very important because the role models and the experience of the others are always important for for all the others entrepreneurs. So can you share with us your experience, how you have attract financing from the business angels to Bairro Direct?
Yes, of course. So the first as we started from the first bootstrapping with our own money and made the first traction when we had this some significant traction going on, we decided to go to the leaders of the industries. For example, I approached one of the C-levels of Alibaba, JD.com, some logistical big companies in markets from industry leaders outside Portugal who were ruled big companies, because the Portuguese market was our initial market and is a small market, and we wanted to expand and go big. So we needed to find industry leaders who ruled big companies and could share this expertise. So we started to approach them more like, we are building this, we have this expertise, and we saw that you have that expertise. So we want to have a view, ask you to have a view on our business. And then you start to share your mission, your idea, what you're trying to do. And if the people believe in you, they invest in you. And we really attracted the best talents from the angel investors from the retail sector. You approach them through LinkedIn, you approach them through a warm introduction, you go to some universities, especially in Portugal, are an amazing place to find angel investors, to find the industry leaders who can help you to also access to funding. So, and actually our angel investors helped us then hire the talent. So we asked them to communicate in their channels that Bairro is looking for the COO, for the CTO, and we attracted the best technological talent we could and brought it to Portugal, which is a big success for us, because one of them was building a big platform with 10 million, 10 million orders per month, and we have 10 million people in Portugal, so it was really important for us to find talent who build it and could help us to go big. So angel investors for me are one of the most important things, because they're the advisors, they are your first voters, they are supporting you all the way, and you really have to look for investors who will be at your team, who will play with you the game. Because if they only give you the funding, funding is really important, but sometimes it's not enough.
Yeah, for sure. And technology for sure is crucial for the investment of business angels to be scalable. Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there are any other participants that wants to make any questions. I know that there are here some business angel also.
Yeah, but I only add that for our country here in Portugal and in small countries of Europe, I think you really have to connect with the community to build a strong network of people who will support your ideas, who will see that you are a real person, who will start to hear you. And then at some point you will connect to different industry leaders, and you work and you work and you explore it and you look for the impact. You build these different networks, and then you see the work being paid, because you start having support, you start raising funding. And the most important part is actually execution, is being part of it, is an amazing expertise. For example, in Portugal, the failure is seen very negatively, and we have to embrace it like a learning experience, a learning opportunity. So there shouldn't be a scare of the failure, but a scare of not trying. We really should be scared that we don't want to try.
Yes. Yes.
So we really have to embrace ourselves. And it's not easy to build a network, but you really have to go there. And the universities, grants, government opportunities, we really should go for it and tell the ideas, because we have so much talent in Portugal and in different countries of Europe. So I really encourage everyone to try to do something and you will test ideas. You will understand, okay, this is not working because this industry expert is telling me this. And sometimes you really have to know what you want to do, because you'll hear thousands of opinions and they will be all different. And sometimes people can be giving you an opinion, and is an industry leader you look a lot and you admire a lot, but maybe he doesn't understand what you're talking about. So you can't take it too hard, because you have to find the people who understand you, because if they understand what you're building, they will invest in you.
Yes, it's true. And what are the next steps or challenges for Bairro Direto?
Well, right now we launched a pilot with macro cash and carry. So we're launching some big clients right now, and we have this growing, this growth, and we are looking for talent. We're expanding the teams, and this is also a new challenge for us, which is the growing part. So you have to adapt everyone to new members, you have to adjust to new customers, change process, optimize everything. So right now the challenge is a growth where you don't lose your great customer experience, when you continue to provide a great responsiveness, to focus on the customers. So this is challenging.
Yes. So any other question? Just me. Okay, so I want to thank you very much, Milana, for being here with us today. It was great, and we wish you all the success for this growth of Bairro Direto, and we'll follow you very closely.
Thank you very much. And if anyone will have any question or want to share their idea with me, I'm always available. There are a lot of also events happening in Lisbon from Food Tech, from the Unicorn Factory program. Please look at these events, come meet the network, meet the community, and all together we can make the impact. We can more look together for impact investing. So thank you so much for inviting me. I really enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you very much, and we will share your presentation and your contacts to all the participants, okay, after, and will be also the presentation available in the website of the project, but we'll share also by email to all the participants so that they can have this knowledge that you have shared with us. So thank you very much. So thank you all participants to be here with us. We'll see you soon, and thank you very much. Bye.